Alright, this is the possible last video for tonight, but let's talk about interrogatives. Again, this is another re-up video from my revamping of the channel. And this time we're gonna take a look at three words, three interrogative words, right? Unsa, well, I guess two. So unsa and kanus-a. Unsa and kanus-a. And unsa just means what in general. So unsa means what, but when we start tacking on some of these affixes, unsa, the meaning what, gets changed to a different meaning depending on what affix you want to attach. So for example, if we attach gi in front of it, so gi unsa now makes unsa into how. But this is how in terms of something that was already completed or something that was already done in the past. So a completed action, and someone wants to know how it happened or how it was done, then you use giunsa. So giunsa is more like, how did blah 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 blah, right? How did you do that? How did you fix this? How did that happen? How, you know what I mean? So that's what giunsa is gonna compensate for. Unsaon, on the other hand, okay, unsaon is the opposite. And unsaon is how, but how in the sense where an action wasn't completed yet. So unsaon meaning how. So how do you know? How do you do this? How does that work? How, it's gonna say how, but it's more like how in a sense where actions or things that will happen in the future, okay? In the future, something that wasn't completed yet, but you're anticipating it to happen. It's incepting in the future. There you go, right? Kanus-a, right? So kanus-a just means when. It means when. Now, some people say there's also anus-a, and there's kanus-a, and then there's anus-a. Yeah, I agree with that, but the Cebuano language is also changing, and with it, well, perhaps maybe my dialect of Cebuano changes because Anusa and Kanusa are merging from how I see it. Like people, when they say Kanusa, there's a difference between the two, between Kanusa and Anusa, when something was completed and something was incomplete. But nowadays, people just merge the two of them to Kanusa. Yeah, Kanusa. And don't forget, there's a hyphen there, so you have to have a pause, like an internal pause. Kanusa, right? Kanusa, which means when. So kanusa means when, but it can also be used to express how long in duration, time duration, not how long an object is or something like that, but how long in time duration. How long have you been waiting in line? How long does this gonna take? How long have you been sick? Or when have you sick? When did you start? When did you wait in line? So when or how long. So you can use kanusa for a time duration as well. And the last thing on this video I want to talk about is unsa again, but this time unsa with the different affix, right? So unsa plus nga gives us a specifier, right? Unsang, right? And that's just a specifier. Remember, it does not mean unsa and ang. It means unsa and nga, right? Unsa and nga gets us unsang. Why? Because unsa and ang gives us unsay. Remember that irregular y, right? Unsay. Now, nagunsa means what, but what in the sense of what happened. So we're talking back in the past of what happened, of a completed action, right? What was happening? What was blah 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 doing? What had happened? What had blah 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 been doing? Or you see all these things, anything that's related to the past aspect, okay? The past aspect, something that was already completed, right? But unsa itself just means what, or we can also use unsa by itself to indicate a future or incepting kind of aspect, all right? This is just something that I wanted to clarify.